Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl. I'm a recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center. This is our coffee and conversation meeting for the day. This is how to build a sense of purpose after addiction. Let's hop into it. It says, reconsidering your path beyond substance use. It says, recovery from addiction offers a profound opportunity to rebuild a life filled with meaningful fulfillment and new passions. While the journey can be challenging, establishing routine, reconnecting with passions, and building supportive relationships are vital steps toward a purposeful life. This article explores practical strategies and insights into how individuals can cultivate a renewed sense of purpose after overcoming addiction, supporting long-term sobriety and overall well-being. And it goes on to say, how does establishing routines and habits support purpose in recovery? Creating regular routines and healthy habits provide essential stability during the recovery process after addiction. Many individuals experience feelings of chaos and uncertainty. Establishing a structured daily schedule replaces these feelings with predictability, offering a sense of normalcy that fosters emotional and mental clarity. Consistent routine reinforce positive behaviors like balanced eating, exercising, engaging in self-care, and attending support groups. These actions can not only improve physical health, but also your mental resilience, helping individuals feel more in control of their lives. That helped me tremendously in my early recovery was, and still to this day, is routine, right? I start to get a job and start to go to 12-step fellowship and go to support groups and meetings and counseling. So I got into that routine of doing things day to day, and I left, and started to fill that void of that emptiness that I was trying to fill for so long with positive stuff. And so I know, especially in earlier recovery, like I had a lot of time on my hands, right? I didn't have a routine. Like I went to treatment, got out of treatment, and was left with myself, right? Because I know for me, my life consists of using drugs and alcohol for many, many years. And, not just using, but finds the means to get more and the life that I was living. It just was a constant chase. So I started to change people, places, and things and start to build new healthy habits and new routine of, being a productive member of society. And that can look like from different many paths. Like I said, finding a job and, getting my license and having healthy relationships. And it's just some type of normalcy, and that's what, so-called normalcy is having healthy habits and having a job, having a license, having a car, having a house and taking care of your responsibilities, which I did for so many years. I was not a productive member of society. Right. So I found a new life and I had to build on that new life and healthy routines and healthy habits and living life differently. It says research shows that it takes about 66 days to develop a new habits. As individuals form these new routines, they gain a boost and self-efficacy, believing in their ability to sustain change. This sense of control is vital for maintaining sobriety and aligning daily actions with larger personal goals. Routines act as an emotional anchor, reducing stress and anxiety by offering a clear plan to navigate daily challenges. This predictability allows individuals to focus on their growth, purpose, and new passions. No overdeveloping and sticking to routines cultivates self-discipline, confidence, and motivation, laying a strong foundation for long-term fulfillment. Is in essence, routines and recovery serve as a guiding framework that supports emotional stability, fostering lasting habits and help individuals discover or rebuild their sense of purpose. They act as a structure with meaning and personal growth can flourish. It says, what strategies can help individuals rediscover and build a sense of purpose after overcoming addiction? Recovering from addiction is a journey of not only sobriety, but also rediscovering one's sense of purpose. Engaging in new interests and hobbies plays a vital role in this process. Exploring activities such as painting, writing, playing musical instruments, or participating in sports can foster personal growth and emotional healing. Volunteering for community service or pursuing educational opportunities can ignite passions and provide a sense of achievement. And it talks about finding new passions and rediscovering what I used to do in active addiction was some other things that I like doing was like fishing and like going outdoors and stuff like that. But like I wasn't really enjoying it, right? I was always under the influence. So I find new opportunities, new things I do for self care, and which is needed. Self-care is part of recovery. We have to sometimes put ourselves first, and especially our physical or mental and our spiritual condition is important. We have to maintain that on a daily basis. Yes, it can be tough, but if we can maintain our spiritual condition, I know for me, life goes smoother. I can have less anxiety, less stress. It's definitely a good way to live, because I know for me, when I was in active addiction, my life was consist of chaos and conflict, and there was always, something going on. There was no contentment in my life, and that's something I, pursue is contentment with myself, and especially with the people in the world around me is tough, but and that's where the principles come into play at. We can apply the principles. We can restart our day over at any given moment, and I have to remind myself of that. I can push the pause button and really take a breather. We talk about meditation and the breathing techniques that we can do, and we can restart our day over again anytime. And I have to remind myself that. But we have to really take care of ourselves, because I always put myself last on the list, right? And we have to really take care of our especially our spiritual condition. It says building a supportive social network is equally important. Reconnecting with family members and friends, joining support groups like AA and Narcotics Anonymous NA, and becoming involved in community organized create a foundation of encouragement and accountability. These connections help individuals feel understood and supported as they navigate their new lives. And that's how I found like my purpose, is through people, through support groups and my network of people, helping me find my pathway and find my purpose in life. And that took time to, I found that giving back to others, can you shut that, please, Pedro? Thank you. I'm sorry. Is to, give back to others. We talk about being selfish, right? That's one big thing. I still to this day, I can be selfish at any given moment, right? But me taking a look at that and being aware and talking to other recovering addicts, I can break that barrier and be selfless than selfish. Giving back is a gift. I found my purpose through support groups and like NA and AA and stuff like that. Just people helping me so I can help them to help others. So and that in early recovery, I didn't know what my purpose was. I just wanted to stop using drugs and alcohol. I just wanted the pain to stop, and I just didn't know how to do that. And I couldn't get the concept of don't use no matter what, right? And it was hard, that's my life was revolved around using drugs and alcohol for a lot of years. So not to use was foreign to me. That's the way I coped with life and coped with my emotions and feelings, was using drugs and alcohol. And it took me in a lot of dark places, which I didn't think I can get out of. I was like, how do I stop using drugs and alcohol? And how do I stop doing this? And how do I stop doing that? Well, Carl, stop, put the shovel down and stop digging. I was digging my own hole, and I was burying myself in it. So I was creating my own chaos. It took me a while to figure that out. Um, it says self-reflection and gratitude practices also significantly contribute to discovering purpose. Regular meditation, journaling, and mindfulness exercise enable individuals to reconnect with their core values and acknowledge positive aspects of their life, fostering a hopeful outlook, settling realistic and achievable goals, gives direction and momentum, not only in personal development, but also in establishing routines that support sustained sobriety. Developing coping strategies and relapse prevention plans is essential to maintaining progress. This might include seeking ongoing therapy, participating in family counseling, and engaging in community activities that reinforce sobriety and purpose. And it talks about relapse prevention plans. That can be many, many things. And my plan is to be connected, right? Have a strong foundation, a solid network of people that I can trust and confide in, going to meetings, going to support groups, counseling, therapy. It talks about it. That's how I have my relapse prevention plan, doing the things that was passed down to me, and then I can pass down to others. And so I can't keep anything by not giving it away, right? So like my purpose is for me to get better, right? And to pass that down to others, right? Because that's just like the most important thing is giving back, for me anyway. But I had to do work on myself, not surface level, digging deep and getting to the root of the problem, right? And the first the parent thing was using drugs and alcohol, right? But I have a lot more other things going on with me that led me keep leading me back to using drugs and alcohol, right? And I had to find that. I'm still continuing because recovery is a lifelong process, right? I continue to find out why I was doing the things that I was doing, right? And it's the most freeing thing that you can do, right? I want to be free of the guilt, the shame, all the ugliness, all the stuff that I did. And, recovery helps me to be rid of all that stuff, right? To reflect, to really, assess what's really going on with me, to be open and honest, not just with myself, but with others, right? And I've found the people that can help me and that are just, people that are just like me, right? And because that broke the isolation, right? Because I thought I was like different. I thought I was unique. I thought I was the only one that did certain things or been through certain things, which is not true, right? It broke the isolation. I broke the loneliness. And it broke the rationalize and justifying. That's why I have people that hold me accountable today, right? And give me a different perspective. Because when I run on my own juice, I always end up in some sticky situations. It says developing coping strategies and relapse prevention plans is essential to maintain progress that might include seeking ongoing therapy. We talked about that. Overall, a combination of exploring passions, cultivating supportive relationships, practicing mindfulness, and setting accountability goals, creating a pathway for individuals to rebuild their sense of identity, purpose, and fulfillment after addiction. Ongoing professional support and active community involvement serve to reinforce these efforts and support long-term recovery. How can developing passions and interests in recovery aid in creating a meaningful life? It says engaging in hobbies and discovering new passions play a crucial role in the recovery journey. These activities not only provide a healthy outlet for meeting stress and emotions, but also helps individuals build a sense of purpose and achievement outside of their past substance use. When people explore new interests or reignite old passions such as painting, playing music, sports, or volunteering, they begin to craft a renewed identity rooted in positive experiences. Having meaningful pursuits boosts self-esteem and offers direction. It helps individuals see their lives as valuable and full of potential, fostering a sense of fulfillment that counteracts the emptiness of often linked with addiction. These passions serve as motivators, encouraging continued sobriety and resilience in facing life's challenges. And it's something I ran from for many years is life challenges. Right, I didn't want to be productive, right? I didn't want to be held accountable. I just wanted to, I was very rebellious, self-righteous. I was very self-willed. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do and not reap the consequences, right? That's just not reality, right? I was delusional, right? I always wanted to do things my way, when I wanted it, how I wanted it, and I got what I got, right? But in the recovery process is for me to reflect on that stuff, assess it, right, and to get to the root and to work on it, right, and don't let that my past define who I am today, right. I don't let myself be reflected from my past. That's just not who I am. Yes, I've done the things that I did. I've been through the things I've been through, and uh, recovery process begins to admitting, right, and surrounding and accepting that I did those things, and I held myself accountable, and one of the recovery process is making amends, making direct amends, indirect amends, when that time comes, because there's timing can be a lot of things. Timing can be crucial, so like I focus on myself today and moving forward in life. I don't let the past drag me down, because the past can hold a lot of guilt and shame. It's a lot of baggage, to be trying to go forward to hold this bag of whatever you got in there, right? It would just weighs you down, and can bring up a lot of uncomfortable emotions and feelings that, and they do pass and they do come up, right, in recovery, but I don't stay stuck in those. I can visit and I can let go. So it's just that's where applying the principles can come in. It says, sharing interests with others also strengthens social connections, which are essential for sustaining recovery. Participating in groups, hobbies, or community projects can create a supportive environment, reduce feelings of isolation, and foster long-term friendships. This social aspect is especially important as meaningful relationships provide encouragement, understanding, and accountability. Yes, so relationships is very important. For me, I think for many others, recovery is about relationships. Life is about relationships, and I was not good at that. In active addiction, I still fall short today. And that's okay. I'm not perfect. I'm only human, and so I needed help, right? And I didn't have to ask for the help, or if I did ask for the help, I was asking the help how to help me. Like I became my own therapist, I became my own counselor, my own doctor. I prescribed my own medication. So like everything was about me and what I was doing for myself. And until I got out of myself and took myself out of the equation and actually accepted and surrendered and asked for help and took the help that was provided to me, right? I start to change and start to grow. It doesn't happen overnight. I start to get better, and it broke the isolation. It broke the loneliness. And I start to get, open and honest with myself and others. And that started to free me up from a lot of stuff. It broke that isolation, which was killing me. So like we talk about in recovery, how free do you want to be? And thank God I lost the desire to use. And I'm free from active addiction, right? And long as I maintain my recovery, right, and do the work that's needed, and some, right, and to give back to others, like I got a shot. We talk about, it's a simple program for complicated people. Some of the recovery slogans that we talk about in certain meetings and fellowships and stuff like that. So I can create my own chaos and conflict at any given moment. So if I can get myself out of the way and take myself out of the equation, and focus on my purpose and to do the right thing for the right reasons, life can go a lot smoother. All right, says ultimately embracing interests and passions in recovery transform the journey from merely abstaining from substance to building a vibrant, fulfilling life. This process supports emotional well-being, resilience, and the pursuit of happiness. And essential ingredients for long-term sobriety and personal satisfaction says relation of passions to sense of purpose. When passions are aligned with personal values and goals, they reinforce a sense of purpose. This connection provides motivation and a reason to stay committed to sobriety. Finding activities that inspire joy and fulfillment enhances emotional resilience and helps maintain focus on personal development. So we're talking about finding talks about like activities and stuff like that, and I've seen that a lot in here, and like because we want to be happy, we want to have fun, right? We want to enjoy life, and what does that consist of, right? We have to find out what your passions and what what we can reignite that you did in addiction or lost in addiction or lost interest in, so we can have to find new things or reignite some of the things, so we want to feel good, we want to have fun, we want to enjoy life, so we have to find what the puzzle piece that is missing, right, to for self-care and to enjoy life. There's many things. Like I said earlier, like I like outdoors and I like fishing. I like, engaging with my family and friends and just being present and being visible and available. That time, time with people is the most precious thing that we can value today in recovery, because I know for me, I was not present, I wasn't visible and available, I wasn't trustworthy, and I wasn't reliable. So, just being a productive member and being available for others is big. So that was our coffee and conversation meeting for today. My name is Carl, I'm a recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center. Until next time, we'll see you later.